Welcome to Synagogues of New York, Part 2. We start out in Amenia, a small town in Dutchess County with about 4,500 residents. The rabbi of this conservative congregation is John Haddon, who was recently hired after having been retired as the spiritual leader for more than 21 years at a synagogue in Ridgefield. This congregation has Shabbat services twice a month on Saturday mornings. The congregation has been around for more than 85 years, and we believe that the building shown here was erected in May of 1929. We shift over to Amherst, a city in Erie County with more than 122,000 residents. And we're looking at Temple Beth Tzedek, which looks more like an office building. This congregation is the result of a merger in the past 10 years between a couple synagogues. They were both of the conservative affiliation. Besides Shabbat services, there is a daily minyan both morning and evening. So here's the story on the mergers. In 1968, Temple Shaarei Tzedek was formed by a merger of Temple Emmanuel and Temple Beth David Ner Israel. Both of these congregations had started out in the Buffalo area in the 1930s. Then in 2008, Temple Beth Tzedek was formed by a merger of Temple Beth El of Buffalo and this Temple Shaarei Tzedek. 3 years later, in 2011, Beth Tzedek absorbed much of the assets of Temple Beth Israel of Niagara Falls. And this past year in 2017, Temple Beth Tzedek. Why so many mergers? Well, in 2008, Temple Bethel had about 275 members remaining. And although it was sustainable, that would probably only last for a handful of years. As the president of Temple Shaarei Tzedek said at the time, there just were not enough conservative Jews in Western New York to support two congregations. But there was also an issue of policy. The Shaarei Tzedek congregation was more traditional in its conservative practice than Bethel. But Shaarei Tzedek had 500 members, which was about half the size of what it had 20 years earlier. So many of the members felt that they should not give in to compromise on practice. Then there is the fact that both congregations consisted of many retirees who would go to warmer climes during the winter season. And finally, at that time in 2008, the longtime rabbi of Shaarei Tzedek was forced to resign after being accused of maintaining an improper relationship with a member of the congregation. But let's change course and head out to another Amherst synagogue, Temple Beth Zion. This congregation started out in 1850 as Orthodox, but switched to Reform in 1863. The congregation has two rabbis, Jonathan Freirich and Adam Scheit. Shabbat services are held on Friday evenings, and there are actually two synagogue buildings at two different locations. The camera has been showcasing the one on Sweet Home Road, and here is the Delaware Avenue location that was rebuilt after a fire in the early 1960s. It seems as if this episode's theme is all about mergers. Here is now what is called Congregation Shir Shalom. Its origins go back to 1952, and it is affiliated with the Reconstructionist movement. It has a little more than 150 members. Before the merger, it was called Temple Sinai. It combined with Temple Beth Am, a Reform congregation. The merger took place at the beginning of July 2012. Alex Lazarus, an ordained Reconstructionist rabbi, is the spiritual leader. Shabbat services are held both Friday evenings and Saturday mornings. Our final stop is in Amsterdam, a city of about 18,600. It's home to Sons of Israel, a conservative affiliated congregation. Amsterdam is in the foothills of the Adirondack Mountains. Shabbat services are held twice a month on Saturday mornings. The congregation utilizes a student rabbi. The congregation began in 1887, and it moved to this location in 1976. And it is also possible that there are Saturday morning Shabbat services even when the student rabbi is not available, and they are conducted by lay leaders. As this episode concludes, we remind you that there are many more synagogues in the state of New York to check out. Bye for now and see you soon.